Hello, everyone. Welcome back for another episode of the RK Football Podcast. And this week you've got me, Matt, Stuart, and Josh with us this week. We have been unfortunate to hear the news that David and Matt picked up injuries this week, and same as Carl as well. So they'll be back in due course.
Well, our injury team was definitely on the case to try and get them back for next week.
Yeah, well, our medic team is pretty poor at the minute, but we'll give them the kick up the arse they need. But well, we're going to start off, I think, with one of the most exciting top four races I think we've seen in quite a long time. I mean, last season was pretty good, but this year looks very interesting, and all three teams, Man United, Liverpool, and Chelsea, all came away with fantastic results on the weekend,
Mm.
which kind of didn't really actually tell us anything. Like all it told us was that I think mentality wise, these sides are up for the fight. Would you agree with that?
I mean, I would say probably more was it Chelsea and was it Man United? Because obviously coming from behind in both of those games proves that I think you really have. I mean, definitely Man United. Obviously, how doom and gloom it was like a couple of months ago. Now it's all of a sudden top four actually looks like a real possibility for them. But I mean, Chelsea, I think it was like giving credit for that second half to get back into that because obviously in the first half, I guess, and you guys talk about in a minute is. But 2-0 down against West Ham, it's like you don't lose to West Ham at home, do you? It's not.
Agreed.
It's yeah, you don't. So to get back to win that 3-2 in the way you did is mildly impressive. But yeah, I think I guess all of our teams can all come out from this weekend pretty happy. I mean, I'm stoked. I'm chuffed for that 4-1 against Newcastle. I was thinking for the first 35 minutes, I was thinking here we go again, but got the win.
Yeah, I thought there's three great games to be fair. I watched all of them. I think if I start with the Liverpool one, I actually thought Liverpool were quite poor in the first half an hour. I thought
Oh
Newcastle
yeah, no,
actually
this great.
started the
Yeah.
game a lot better. I actually think in a weird sort of way, the Gordon goal was the best thing that could have happened to Liverpool. I think
Mm.
it really woke them up. And I think once Ekitike got the equaliser, it was a great goal, wasn't it? I don't think
Oh,
the result was ever really in doubt. And then
I mean,
in the second half, I thought you were quite comfortable.
yeah. I
I
mean,
think the United result, I think they were great for 70 minutes against a decent Fulham side, who I think are going to be top 10 by the looks of it. Um, I thought they sat back at 2-0 United, and I thought that was the wrong thing to do. You could just see them dropping deeper and
They're
deeper.
not good enough defensively, I don't
No,
think, just yet to
agreed.
sit back. Yeah.
Agreed. But in fairness for them to have the character to go back and then go up the other and then win the game
yeah.
was fantastic. Great goal from Sesko. He should have scored with his header with his first touch. But I think that goal will give him a lot of confidence. I think with the
A
Chelsea
winning
game, I
goal
think
as
it's
well always
yeah.
helps.
The
I mean,
Chelsea game was a game of two halves. First half terrible. Like I'm not. Don't get me started on Garnacho. Just don't. I think 2-0 we were terrible. But I think great comeback. But what I would say is Rossini, that's the second game in a row he's picked the wrong team to start with. Fair play to him, made the right changes, and all the changes, came back and won him the game. And credit to him for making the changes. But we can't keep going, a goal down at half time, two goals down at half time. He's got to pick the right team from the start.
I
So
think I think that's a bit unfair in a way because the reason I say it is that you got to think Chelsea had the biggest game under his tenure in
mm,
midweek when we played Napoli, and he went full strength. He went for it in that game, and Chelsea were exposed at times, but we came out with a victory and the best result of the
it's
season by a country mile.
there's a great win, but you
Coming out of
can't.
that
I
game,
think
he
that
couldn't then play strongest side against West Ham. I don't think
you
straight
can't make
away.
seven changes, Matt. You can't make seven changes in a London derby. I get you
But
need to make
but
certain
who are your
changes. You can't.
players that you can't drop? Who would you say are your players in this Chelsea side you can't drop? I'd say
Well,
Sanchez is one of them.
Sanchez is one of them. I think for me, looking at that derby, I get 3 or 4 changes. I get it. Like we've got a massive game tomorrow against Arsenal as well, which we're not favourites for. So we need our best 11 for that. I mean, Cucurella has to play in a London derby. We need that aggression on the left hand
Chalobah,
side. Chalobah has to play. Pedro has to play for me as well.
Reece
I mean,
James.
Reece I get because he's although he's not as injury prone as he was. Like he's been a bit injury prone the last few years. So that I get. The Reece one I totally get. I trust Gusto as well. Um, I think what are the others? Caicedo and Enzo you can't drop. I mean, didn't to be fair.
Enzo's just brilliant. I think Enzo's fantastic this season. It was
He's
so
on
good
fire,
for us.
isn't he?
And that goal at the end, it was very Lampard-esque. I felt.
Yeah,
Like,
not
he
just
just
the
come
finish,
flying
but the
in.
run. Yeah.
Yeah. I'd say another one. Like, I mean, it was. I think we did miss him. Is Esteval. I do think he's very good. I do think Cole Palmer is like very off his match fitness. He's not quite there yet. There's not that spark in his game, that willingness to drive at a defender. Like, he's always passing it round them. Like, you used to run at a defender, and you don't seem to be doing that at the minute. Like, that confidence isn't in his game yet.
So with Palmer, I know he technically got 2 assists against Napoli. I'm sorry, like they were like what 2-3 yard layoffs both times. Pedro's the first goal was a 30-yard screamer.
True.
Yeah, Palmer. I'm not impressed with Palmer this year. Like, I've said that I think on a previous show. He's just not. He doesn't look right. I don't know if it's just. Is it just injuries or is there something else going on?
I think it's match fitness. He's like, he's not played a full 90 minutes in quite a long time. And I think that a bit same with Reece James, that spark wasn't never quite there, and then all of a sudden this season he's really come into gear. I think that this season, probably last maybe 8 games, you may see the Cole Palmer that we want to see. But also as well, since Cole Palmer's been out, had the injuries and slowly come back into the side, you can't guarantee him a place because the players that have been playing have been really good.
I don't know what you think about this, Stu. I think Chelsea this season are better when Palmer doesn't play.
Yeah,
I think we play better.
I don't disagree with that, to be fair. I mean, because obviously you can't. Funny thing about Cole Palmer is obviously why everyone kind of doubts his kind of sometimes not ability, but ability of consistency. Is we kind of had this problem last year, near the end, the back end of Chelsea side last year, where he just didn't he didn't turn up. He wasn't even injured. He just wasn't turning up in the games. And obviously when he done it in the Conference League final, obviously everyone was like, oh my god, quality. But yeah, this season I think it is injuries, but. I mean, I don't know if you saw this rumor. I think it was around about. I don't know if it was a serious rumor in the transfer, but there was talk about Man United going for him. That probably wasn't serious, but like I saw
that if it's a supporter, wasn't he?
Yeah, so it's like if the rumor's coming like that, there's usually a little bit to that. So maybe there's something more to that. But I think for him, it's more as you guys have been saying. I think it's injuries. He said he's been out for a lot of the season, and obviously he said it takes you time to get back. But the
new manager as well.
Yeah,
thing to think about too.
I mean, again, you don't know if the way he plays suited for Wesker than it was for new manager. So it's an interesting one. But again, it's like as you said, it's not like you're going we're better with him in. It's like you're playing way better without him. So it's one of those like if he gets back in the form, great. But if he doesn't, it's not at the moment for you, Chelsea. It's not a big loss for you.
No, it's not. Like again, the West Ham game on Saturday, for me, he did nothing. He didn't do it. He wasn't in the game for most of it. I don't remember him having anything to do with any of the 3 goals. But he's not the only one that I'm a bit worried about. I'm worried about Neto's form as well. I don't know what's happened to Neto the last couple of months. He doesn't look the same player. I think it's just bad form. All players go through bad.
I think that our spine. I think that every team has a spine. It may not be the greatest spine, like like Arsenal. They've got a clear spine. They've got Raya. Then you've got Gabriel Saliba, Rice, Zubamendi. Then you've got obviously you'd probably maybe argue Saka. But with Chelsea, it's not nowhere near as a stronger spine. But there's definitely players there that you go, they have to be starting most or near enough every game. I mean, the one thing I was most impressed by in that game, and I didn't see it till after the game, was Robert Sanchez. I don't know if you've seen this video. Like, it's of him at half time, and these Chelsea fans are booing them, and he just turns around and he says, "We've still got another 45 minutes, lads. Come on!" And that leadership, that drive to no, we're going to turn this game around for you guys. We are going to do it. And he's so much of a better keeper this season than he was last season.
He's been impressive. I mean, it's more of Leicester have realised that maybe he's let's not try this stuff about he's just a proper good this season. Even if you stop his game or something's changed, but just like a proper shot stopper because he's made some spectacular saves for you this season and to keep you in games. Because obviously we've had early on in the life of the podcast, which we were talking about where we need a world-class keeper, and a big keeper. But now we look the way he's playing, you're thinking it's not as much of a if there's one out there, obviously go for it. But
But he'll provide competition. He's not going to just
Yeah.
sit there
Yeah,
quietly.
I think.
Yeah, I agree
I mean,
with that.
obviously, interesting thing about stats. What like we know we don't talk about stats, but like was it? Or if you go in and foot mob and go like, what's the highest rating keeper in this season? It's Sanchez. So I think obviously stats don't always tell the story. I know that's true, but it proves a point that obviously he must be doing something right if he's topping those charts with all the good goalkeepers we've got in the Premier League this season.
I think I think what he is. I think
Yeah.
he's a good Premier League goalkeeper. He's not a top goalkeeper. But in fairness, I think I agree with you guys. I think he's done a lot better this season. He's certainly made less mistakes. I feel as a Chelsea fan, I feel calmer having him in goal than I did last year. Where I used to dread it when he was playing. However, having said all this about him, I don't think he'll be our keeper next year. I think Penders will be. I think Penders will come back from Strasbourg, and I think he'll be number one.
I just think that for me the one thing I would say I'm most impressed by, like from all of this, is that someone highlighted it to me the other day. Under the management of Liam Rosner, we don't have a style. There's no definitive blueprint and a style that you can see obviously just yet, but we're still winning games. That style may not be fully implemented, but we're still winning games. We're scraping it, but winning games still, which is what I think is a good sign.
You kind of have to do that with because obviously I mentioned you guys, but most Chelsea fans are ruthless. So like if you, especially after the way he got the job and how it got in, you can't really go there, and he hasn't really got a lot of time. So
He's got to hit the ground running.
Yeah, it's like maybe he's smart enough to know. Okay, well maybe I have a style, but maybe first off I've just got to get wins, and then he can start implementing it.
And I mean, you look at his start at Chelsea. I mean, I was just having a look at some of it. Obviously, that victory from 2-0 down to win 3-2. That's the first time Chelsea have ever done that, being 2-0 down at half time in Premier League history. You have to go back to the 70s, the last time Chelsea done that at Stamford Bridge.
It's incredible.
I was like, what?
Like,
that is amazing. Like, but the other thing as well was he is the let me get this right. He is the fourth English manager to win his first 3 Premier League matches.
That's a quiz question, isn't it?
And the other ones are but Bobby Gould of Coventry, 1992.
Okay.
Sam Eladishi of Bolton, 2001.
I thought you were sitting at Allardyce there.
And then was it Shakespeare? You know, the old Leicester manager.
Oh, right, yeah.
In 2017, they were they're the other 3 managers, and he's the only one who is managed a side who is up there.
But have you seen the next day, Michael Carrick became the 5th English manager to win his first 3 games in a row?
I mean, are we all?
You got to think back to 2021 because he managed a couple of games.
If you count that, I guess, if you want to go But I mean, obviously with that one's funny because obviously I find, well, what was it, that thing online? That guy is like, he won't cut his hair until Man United get 5 wins in a row.
Yeah.
He's got 3.
2.
Isn't
it Spurs and
West Ham away, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. So they're the 2 games they have to win. And again, Man United, they do look good. And like Josh said it before we started, it was, they did look convincing all the time throughout the game, but they still scraped out the victory. They got the goal they needed to win the game, and players like Seshko have to be stepping up in those moments to be getting the winning
he's
goal.
Been quite good since the new managers, whoever has been the caretaker, or whoever who's come in. But he's for play at the last couple of games. Like I think he's got a couple of goals. Like he's starting to look like. Cause obviously, what was the thing everyone's criticising? He's just not involved. He's not scoring goals. In the last couple of games, he's been really.
4 goals, isn't he? Scored
So it proves the point. It probably was style. It's the reason why he wasn't in coaching, because obviously it seems to be something's changing. Obviously, something's doing right because obviously he's been involved, and obviously that was one hell of important goal to get the winner, that late winner. But yeah, I mean, I think Man United, it's more of a situation. I believe it's like it is that new manager bounce, but it might be enough to probably catapult them, really challenging for that top 4. Maybe, but
please.
No.
I want top 4 as well. So.
Yeah. Talking of top 4, I think we need to include Villa in this conversation because I think Villa are going to drop out of that top 4. I don't think they've got the depth to stay in that position.
I mean, how many points are they offers? Like whoever's
6
4th?
points. 6 or 5. They're 5 points off of Man United.
I don't know. They do have
They've got
because
that.
obviously I don't know what their record is after European games, but there has been a couple of games where they're like when they've just done well in Europe and then all of a sudden the game after.
They've had
I
a
think that's
stinker.
twice I've seen them. Was it just lose 1-0 and not score at home? I think after European games. So I get that. I mean, obviously, as all fans, obviously with David would probably attest if he was here with Man United, is we kind of want that to happen because we want to catch up, move up the table as much as possible. So we want that. I think that I don't totally just maybe when it was 7 or 8 or not, when it was proper on Villa, but yeah, they could. I could see if I could see them going for a little bit of a run, and one of us can catch him. But
So if we look at the games at the weekend, so Villa have got Bournemouth away. Bournemouth are in a bit of form, and they're tough nut for anyone to crack. Chelsea have got Wolves away, should win. Not definitely, but should win.
yeah, expected.
Yeah, United have got Spurs at home, should win. In my opinion, should win.
I don't know after that City result.
So if Chelsea, Liverpool, United win their games, which they should do, and Villa drop points, all of a sudden it's 3 points.
I mean,
I think
they're in
if you're going to include Aston Villa in that conversation, I think you have to include City.
yeah, same points, right?
I do. I think you have to include City because they are only on 1 point ahead of them,
Yeah,
and they
that's a good
That's
don't.
a fair point.
And like they lost that. For me, that result on the weekend not only solidifies, like I think it tells the story all in one. There, you are not going to win this league. I'm sorry, you don't lose a 2-0 lead.
But they were so comfortable in that first half.
situation.
They were
Yeah.
so comfortable with the 2 goals. I mean, two great goals there. Were like really impressive goals there. And obviously, the first half, it was just like 2-0. You're thinking, okay, cool, easy win. Just have to maybe get a third just to kill it, and then they've got it. But then, I mean, to whatever. I mean, we've got to ask that question about that scorpion kick. It's like, did he mean it? Because everyone says amazing, or did he just try and?
Of course he meant it. Of course
Oh,
he meant
yeah.
it.
No, because we're not talking about a proper one. We're not talking about like the goal.
Giroud is the best. Giroud is the best. That was the
but,
best one. That's
But
the one.
I just love the way it's like it's because it's like it looks like he meant it, but then maybe it's like you can always say maybe he just tried it and see what happens, but obviously it went in and what an equaliser. But yeah, I mean, I have to admit after watching that Man City top them, I'm starting to lean towards the idea that basically I think unless Arsenal blow it, that as we know they do have the ability to. I think Arsenal winning it. I think Arsenal are winning this league.
The thing is as well, and this is going to sound really harsh on this player, but I've not rated him ever since Man City signed him. And again, it's a player that I am brilliant with my pronunciation at, so forgive me if I get this wrong. It's the defender. Is it Skulaskov?
Oh, he's not that. Not Ukrainian one, is it?
No, not
Kushner.
Uzbekistan.
Kushner.
Oh, well, yeah. Is that when he went?
Yeah.
Last January one, yeah.
The goal that Solanke scores, and I know Rodri's had his say on it and everything, and to be honest, I think it's pathetic. Like it is a goal. What happens to Gahey if that happens for City and Haaland kicks?
City players come out with that silly stuff. It's like when last season I think Bernardo Silva, I think it was, he came out with saying like Southampton they're playing they should be playing that kind of football. It's like, well, you're only annoyed because they're not playing the way you want them to play. So the City players do come out with some really like kind of petulant stuff at times.
But it's like he's everyone focuses on the bit with Gahey, but if you actually look before he scores that goal, that defender should be in control and then just clear his lines, and Solanke should never have had a chance to score. And he gets completely out-muscled and is in the wrong position to defend that. And I'm sorry, you are not winning the league with that defender in your defence. I'm sorry, no.
I mean, how long is what was it? How long is there like both the big defenders out for? Is it like a couple? Is it soon? Is it soon or for a while?
I think that they do return within the next couple of weeks. But the thing for me is that he reminds me of, I don't know if anyone remembers him, Nastasic. Does anyone remember him?
Mustafi,
They bought him from Shell. Yeah, everyone thought, oh my God, this guy's going to be good for him. And he was shocking. This is exactly the same thing with this guy. I'm
I mean,
sorry.
they do get a couple of misses now and then. But defensively, they definitely get misses 9 times out of 10 because it took them, as we all know, it took them a very long time to get a decent keeper that they did, and also a defensive line because obviously I don't know how much money they spent to get that right. So it's not unusual that City have probably bought someone and then it hasn't worked out for them. But to be fair to him, he probably wasn't expecting to play a lot in this season because obviously with the depth they did have. So, but yeah, I think that if I was a City fan, I'll be mildly worried that unless they can keep it going until they play them again, and then close it down, I think Arsenal are. I'll be shocked if they don't win it, basically. Because
I would be too. I think for City, do you know what they remind me a little bit of? But not just this season, but last season. They remind me a little bit of Arsenal under Arsene Wenger in the later years with Wenger. You know, where they're very good on the ball, they score lots of goals. They're pretty good at home still. But when it comes to a physical game, or in terms of like defending properly, they're just shaky. They're soft.
Do you mean the years of Per Mertesacker?
Yeah, those sort of years. Those sort of years. I look at City. I remember when they were winning leagues under Pep, when that Jurgen Klopp Liverpool side were at it like hammer and tongues every year. City was so good off the ball. They're animals off the ball. I look at them now when they don't have the ball. They just look soft to me. They just look like you can get at them. And Spurs, I think, smelled blood in the second half yesterday when they got that first goal. You knew the equaliser was coming.
Yeah. I mean, could it be a situation, obviously, with could it just be fatigue as well? Like, with it being with Pep for so long,
Possibly.
then he started still.
No, I think you've got a point, Stu. I do. I don't think he'd be there next year.
What, Guardiola?
Yeah, I think he's leaving.
Come on. No, I'm sorry, but I do get what you mean, and I did used to think that beginning of the season. However, players like Mark Gahey, Semenyo, don't move to Man City in January if they think, Guardiola's going to be going soon. And Haaland doesn't sign a 9-year contract if Guardiola's going to be sodding off in 2 years of that.
There'll still be a top club without Pep, though.
They would be, but do you remember before he came in, they were like, they would win the league, then they'd drop off. They'd win the league, then they'd drop off. That's what they'd go back to. If it isn't bad.
No, it's great. Let's be honest. I think if Pep leaves, and obviously he's out of the Premier League, it would just make it'd be interesting. The Premier League might be mildly a little bit different. Because obviously there was always that talk when he left Germany. Because obviously they were sitting there saying his style of football kind of not ruined him, but everyone wanted to play his way. So when they left, obviously things changed back to. But I don't know. I just got this feeling because obviously with the Maresca rumours that were coming around before he left, and obviously there's talk rooming around. I think there's something in it. But I wouldn't be surprised if he does stay. But
do you know what the giveaway is, guys? I'll tell you the giveaway. Maresca did not get sacked from Chelsea. He resigned, so therefore he missed out on a lot of potential compensation. Why would you do that unless you've got a big job lined up? I think that big job City.
And they want consistency, isn't it? It's like if you want to manage, you want to manage.
Okay, I feel it's a fair point.
I mean, and obviously there's I think it's happening because obviously unless he does it Sir Alex, if he loses the league and he goes, you know what? No, I'll stay one more year to win it back, then I'll leave, like a Sir Alex situation. But I don't know. Maybe it's just thing. He when you see him in interviews, he looks like a guy that's like similar to Klopp in the end of his 10 years. Like, I'm knackered. I just want to.
I agree totally. I think he's knackered. He's like Klopp at the end of his time. I think with Pep, he's such an intense character. He obviously the greatest manager ever, in my opinion. Just the way he plays, unbelievable. But I think he's done. I think he's hit his peak. Is he going to get it? He's at the end. I think it's time. It's been 10 years now. I think it's his 10th year this year. I think it's like what.
Yeah, and also if you look at it from like what he's won, it's like what does he? I mean, he could stay at City just for the sake he loves the club, but like what else has he got to prove?
Nothing.
I mean, it's like unless he wants to win, maybe if you would say maybe another Champions League, maybe win just one more league before he goes. But again, it's like if he leaves, you're not saying, well, he missed out on that.
I think if Guardiola announced he was retiring at the end of this season and that he was done with football, I think that he would easily, even now, be the greatest manager of all time. He'd be the GOAT of them all because look where everything he done. So I do. Yeah, I think that is a fair point. But I just don't. I'm sorry with Semenyo and Gahey going there. I think there's maybe maybe 2 more seasons left in him.
Is it
I
more
think.
hope? Is it more hope for us, everybody else, to be like Pep? Can you just, politely go, leave so we can kind of.
I
But I
mean,
mean,
I think he adds that excitement to the league. Like you've got the best manager in the world in your league,
Mm.
with some of the best players in the world in your league as well. Like as much as I don't like City and how dominating they've been over the last few years, you have to appreciate this may never happen again as well. Like we may never have a manager of this caliber in this
yeah,
league ever again.
I mean,
So yeah,
yeah, I think it was at one time. I think like we had like three of the best managers in the world. Was it managing was it in the Premier League? Like there was just like we were getting the best players, but also we're getting the best managers. But
mm,
yeah, Pep.
mm.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's obviously I'll probably be wrong on this one, but just I'm going on that preference that I think that this is his last one. But I don't know. I mean, it depends on if he like relits the fire after maybe if he loses the league, maybe he thinks stay another year. But I don't know. I just think he was supposed to go 2 years ago, but they convinced him to stay longer. So maybe he's gone.
The
Yeah,
thing
it's
as
time.
well, we don't know yet what's going to happen with the charges. That might be something else that he knows a lot more
Oh,
about
they'll all
than
go.
we do.
They'll all go at that point. They'll be left with their best player.
Hey,
Will be that
hey,
Uzbekistan centre
as I said,
back.
if they want to kick them out of the league, we don't. It was obviously as a person who lives in Crawley, League Two, don't mind playing them at the Ballfield if they're in League Two. That'd be, I'll be happy with that.
Yeah.
Seeing was it Haaland? You can't get out of his contract, so he's sitting there scoring goals in League Two. I'm just saying it would be if you want hell of a, you get a lot of money for us, but yeah,
Be mental, wouldn't it?
yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think we did steer off a little bit there, and I think one thing we didn't actually speak about in detail there was Liverpool. Obviously they did come back from 1-0 down to win 4-1 against Newcastle United. Like Josh said, again, everyone was probably expecting them to win, but there is one player that I think we spoke about it before and we sung his praise before, and that is Ekitike. He looks brilliant. His creativity is immense. Um, I'm going to go as far as to say this version of Ekitike doesn't allow Isak in the side.
I mean it's
Why
not.
drop him? Why
I
would
mean,
you drop him for this guy? You
I
just
mean,
cannot.
well, I mean, the way it's like, obviously, I think podcast ago when obviously Isak was available, with kind of coming back. It's like, why are you picking? You don't need to pick him. Like, I mean, that second goal for that Newcastle. I mean, the idea we came back, we were 1-0 down, and obviously then all of a sudden we just, as I kind of go with Josh would, like just kind of riled us up and then kind of got back really quickly. But I think what I'm having at the moment is that goal. I think there's a video online saying it's very similar to that Torres goal when he's debuted.
Torres, yeah.
Because the way he kind of cut was it inside and on the outside it just goes in. It's just like I've seen it going, yeah, it kind of looks like that. But yeah, I mean, what I'm loving at the moment is obviously with Ekitike, but I'm loving that there was this Verts, was it Florian Verts and Ekitike? The combinations the last couple of games have been like you're starting to sit. As much as it's maybe negative at times with Liverpool, when you watch every game, you're sitting there like Verts is just finally like I don't want to say arrived, but the last couple of games it's just him and like you can see like the combinations that are becoming that could be if you iron out some problems could become a real threat again. But yeah,
His
I mean
confidence is thriving. He just looks so good. I think.
since the first game he's just looks like, I think it's like everyone we've all said it, it's like all the other signings took time to fit in, but he just turned up and went just like scored his first goal and he's like yeah cool, and he just kept going. Like maybe a couple of injuries and we forget about that Southampton thing where he kind of forgot there was a yellow card. But I mean, but that was mental. But like I think he's just a joy to watch. Like he's just like the way he's got speed. He's good at holding the ball up. He's got this ability to just have the ball and then just accelerate when in an instant. And obviously his finishing is like outstanding. So he's just one of those players that you just like watching. Like he's just a joy to watch. And it's amazing.
He's been a great buy. I mean, to be honest, as a Chelsea fan, I'm gutted we didn't go in for him. He'd have been perfect for us. But I think in fairness, Ekitike's form has been great. I think in terms of does he keep Isak out the team when Isak's back? At the moment, yeah. I mean, the form Ekitike is in, you can't have him on the bench. And I don't think there's a way you can play realistically where they're both in the same team.
They're too different.
Don't see. Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, I think Verts is the one for me. The last 6 or 7 games in particular. I think the first 2 or 3 months, I think you could see that there was a real player in there. But I think he was getting used to the pace and physicality of the Premier League. I think you can see now he's a lot more comfortable with that. His talent is now shining through. I think Wirtz is going to be an unbelievable player for Liverpool.
I
I
mean,
think Wirtz is going to replace Salah as the king of the cop by next
yeah,
season.
I mean, I'm not gonna. It's one of those situations. I'm not exactly disagreeing with that statement. I mean, obviously, I think the physicality there was like early on. I get that because obviously you saw sometimes when he got the ball, he got pushed off quite too easily. But
Sure.
give it like I've noticed recently, it's like when you watch him, he's like he's able to get the ball back quickly, and even if he gets it off, he's got that. He's come back to get the ball back, and obviously he can hold it up better than he was. So I think that was
Absolutely.
kind of the down. And I think we've finally got system's not perfect, but I think we decided a couple of months ago, a month ago, where we said, well, let's just actually do what we're supposed to do, build a team around getting the best out of this guy. And if we get the best out of this guy, everybody else will shine around him. And I think that's kind of shown with obviously Ekitike. I mean, with Mo in the side, obviously now I've noticed recently he's more when he's instead of like going for the shot, he's looking for the pass. So it seems like he's more of a team player than he was before. I think now I noticed that before he went on AFCON, but I think that's conversation. I think he was why he's not moaning about if he wasn't playing. He's more about helping the other players around him a bit more.
Yeah.
I've noticed because obviously you're not going to get him from running back, but if he could be that guy that gets that assist more than he gets the goal, he's still got some use for us. But yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
Wirtz, I mean, for that equaliser, I mean, the idea just with the three defenders and just went past them with ease, and then it's like, I mean, it's just they're just both a joy to watch. And it's like if we can sort out the other problems we've got one hell of a team here in the
I
future.
think though, and I said this, I don't know if Stu will remember this. This was well back at the start of the season, and this was when Liverpool signed Wirtz. I actually did say, and I'm going to stand by this statement because I did say he was going to have a slow start, and then he will start to become the player he will do. I said he'll have as much of an impact in the Premier League as Wayne Rooney when he went to Man United. I think this guy could be like insanely good if he produces what he did at Bayer Leverkusen, which we're seeing so far at Liverpool, and Liverpool get going. I think you're looking at a player that could even eclipse in his career or even match what Kevin De Bruyne did.
I mean,
That's the levels
he's
we're
got the
looking at.
talent, and obviously you can see that. I mean, some of them balls and some of the kind of like even when he's like I think the thing early on, I think people kind of dismissed him because obviously he wasn't getting the assist to goals, but he's off the ball work. I think is the thing that people don't give him enough credit for in ways. Because if you early on he was doing that, he just wasn't doing the stuff that we were all thinking of. But yeah, I mean, some of the vision of his
Do you
passes.
think that people didn't understand his way? So like they saw his movement, but they were like, "Why are you going there?" But now they know
Yeah,
like, he's going to go there, so that they
yeah,
know what to expect from him.
and I also think people. I don't know. I think in a different season he would have been eased in. Because obviously that's what Liverpool normally used to do. It's like we usually just like have the core players, but we ease the players in. But we kind of we kind of fall them all in the water. Most of our new signings, and obviously some early on sunk, and obviously one was swimming. But yeah, normally. But again, give him credit in a way. He could have easily just like gone, but he's gone. No, I want to. He's worked on it. I've heard rumors that he's obviously worked on his strength and stuff, so he can get the physicality. He's worked at it, and obviously now is like we're getting dividends of that kind of ability. And yeah, I think the idea that he scored every game. I mean, obviously, yeah, he looks like the player that we thought we would get now. Like now, it's like start the season, you're thinking, you've just what Liverpool, what have you done? Like now, it's like, yeah, I can see why he's worth the money we pay for him, and obviously now he's like I just think the link up stuff is like if we get like a link in the middle with the link up with everyone with Mo or maybe like moving Gakpo maybe or even yeah, I mean obviously I think I like the way was it Kirkez plays better when Wirtz plays on that left sometimes. I think he's a better he uses him better than obviously Gakpo that kind of keeps cutting inside. That's mildly annoying because defenders were like, well, when Gakpo's got the ball, what's he going to do? He's going to cut inside. So they put two defenders there so they can block him, and then he's completely useless. But like, I think I mean obviously in this game he was better as well. I think Gakpo was a bit more unpredictable that I liked. But yeah, Wirtz, I'm just liking that. Obviously, look, the new signings are starting to become the players that we thought they were. Slowly, it's like getting there. But Wirtz and Ekitike, yeah, I mean.
Yeah, but look good. Amazing. I think as well. What do you think of the Jacquet signing that you made today? I mean, you beat us to it. which I was quite surprised about actually, because I thought he was a shoo-in to come to us. I mean, it fits
Oh
our
my God,
profile of
really?
player.
So has he actually confirmed he's now gone to?
Yeah,
I mean, last time I checked,
Oh no.
I don't want us to make the same mistake twice with the Gahey one because I was so giddy when we thought we had him, and then obviously no place to see. But yeah, no, I think from what I've read, only had brief reads on it. Obviously, it seems like he's got good awareness, good at kind of like reading the game. It's like, I mean, I might be wrong, but I feel like he's like a long-term Van Dijk replacement. I think because of the way he kind of a calm and cool collective.
Short term, get rid of him in the summer.
I think the problem with nice try. I know he wants to get your was it Gates, but he's just a prime Gary Cahill thing out there.
I don't.
Nice try.
No, I don't. You
But
mentioned
no,
it.
I would to be fair. Like, I think what's going to happen is I think we're going to get him in. Obviously, we've got the 18-year-old we signed, and obviously with from Parma that's unlucky with the injury, but get him in. So that's two youngsters to kind of plug that gap, and then we've got. I wouldn't suppose we would get someone that's like ready now, one or two there, and then obviously I think we'll be okay. We should have done this last was it a while back, but Liverpool always do it when they're in a crisis, so it's kind of how we do well. But I think he's got potential, and obviously one of the best youth systems in the country with the ability. So he's got the facilities to become the best player. So yeah, I'm chuffed really. I mean, even if we're getting him in the summer, we'll finally sign a defender. That was like I was worried that it's going to be January with no defender, but we got him in. He looks like I think we've learned from the Gahey thing, just like don't wait, just go for it. So yeah, I'm excited to see what he can do. But yeah,
no, I think it's a big signing for you boys. Do you think he's a Van Dijk replacement? Think he's that sort of player for you?
I think it's because of the calm and cool, from what I've said, like the ability to read the game and kind of he's a one-on-one. I think from what I've read. I mean, I've only had like a brief look, so I don't know too much about him. But from what I've said, it's like. Yeah, I would say so. I mean, I just think because obviously we kind of defense we need is one that's good on one-on-ones, and obviously Van Dijk in his prime was best at. He was so confident in that prime, and so and from what I've read from him in France, he looks quite good. So yeah, I think so. We've got to have that discussion at some point because obviously it's probably this season is kind of exploded. It's happening sooner rather than later. So, but yeah, I think it's a great sign. I think exactly a Liverpool signing. Sign them young, and then try and bred them in by like was it 2021 22 then they'll be up and running and able to play. But yeah, I'm excited for it, to be fair.
Well, there was actually another youngster I did want to speak about before we move on to the Champions League. There is another player I want to speak about, and that is Kroupi, the Bournemouth attacker. He's 19 years old. He already has 8 goals in 19 games. And he is now 4th for most goals from a non-British teenager in the Premier League. These are the other 3 names, okay? Robbie Keane, 12, and Nicolas Anelka, 13, and Romelu Lukaku, 14.
Wow.
The way this guy's playing, I think he could easily be in and amongst those names, like about like second or something like that. But I was watching him against Wolves, and I know Wolves aren't playing brilliantly this season, but his efficiency in front of goal, he is such a threat. He runs it, plays. It's like, please don't lose that side of your game. You look so exciting going forward. And when they lost to Maino, it was easy to go, well, our Bournemouth going to survive, and this guy's going to do it. This guy looks so exciting for him.
He looks great, a terrific young player. I think Bournemouth are another one of those clubs, a little bit like Brighton. They're just so well run. They lose a player. I mean, talking of youngsters as well, to touch on Kroupi quickly, I think he could be a guy that goes to a top club in the summer. I think he's already that good.
Already?
Yeah, I think so. Already. I mean, if you look at his stats, I think he's got as many goals as Yamal, hasn't he, this season? Like it's incredible, like his numbers. But another youngster that Bournemouth have signed, the Brazilian kid, what's his name? Ryan.
His name? Yeah, he got an assist on the weekend on his Premier League debut.
Yeah, unbelievable. Got a ball for the second goal. But Bournemouth are just that sort of club. They recruit so well.
Yeah. Have you heard his comparisons though? This Ryan. Apparently, people have compared him to the next Adriano.
Wow.
And for 24.7 million, he is viewed as someone who belongs in the names of Estival and that Real Madrid youngster. What's his name?
Oh, it begins with M, isn't it? The Argentinian.
Endrick?
Endrick, the striker.
Endrick, yeah. Yeah. He's belonging in that sort of company. And when you hear those sort of names, I know these are like potential players, but you do sit there and think they are rating him highly. They're clearly rating very highly this guy. So
I mean, Bournemouth, and also the Bournemouth's the best club to go to up there with Brighton as well. If you want to develop and kind of develop into the player you want to be, like they're the two clubs you would want to go if you want to build up to a certain level and then
you want to play
move
games.
on.
You want to be playing like there was someone who was linked with a big club, like they were talking about it to me today. I can't think of his name now, but it was God, his name's gone. Oh, that's it, Tonali. I know he's a very good player, and I know he's like Newcastle's best player, but he's been linked with a move to one of the Arsenal. Apparently, he's moved to Arsenal, and I was like, but he's not going to play.
No, I mean, and also wasn't that what I think what I love about that one is the idea it wasn't him. His agents basically going around, like, oh God, like if it was like to me, he's phoned up the Arsenal like chief exec or like director of football and gone, hey, I've got Tonali here, like, would you want him? And they're probably gone, nah, no. We're good, we're good. We've got so many midfielders. It's not even.
Well, to be fair though. Do you know what? I'll play devil's advocate here. I think maybe he would play because Mikel Merino's been ruled out for the season, isn't he? With a season-ending injury.
But I think that Zubimendi, you've got Zubimendi, you've got Declan Rice, and then you've got Odegaard. Those are those three players there. You've got Trossard who can play in the midfield, playing that midfield three as well.
Midfield is not the problem with like, and obviously Arsenal haven't got a problem because they're top of the league by 6 points. But the point is like if they don't need like probably on other departments they probably need, but like I mean to be fair with him, I would say
up front I would say, but with Tonali he's a very good player. I think that if you went to a club like that, you're straight away going, I want to win the Premier League, which fair enough, okay, that's it, you're winning there, but you're not going to play. I reckon within 3 years you're looking at a player who then ends up on loan at blimmin' Fiorentina.
I mean, to be fair, where Fiorentina is in Serie A last time I checked, that's not the best idea because it looks like they're going down. But like, I think it was interesting when I thought of that just because of the way he is and the kind of characters. Like, obviously, it's not a player that Chelsea would buy these days because obviously the youth stuff. But he's the kind of player if you had that in that midfield. He feels like a kind of like Chelsea player to me. Like he seems like one that could just ruffle your feathers and kind of like.
Yeah. I would have had him if Enzo Fernandez didn't kick on this season. If he didn't kick on this season, I'd have looked at Tonali.
Well, to be fair, I'd rather Tonali than Douglas Luiz, who we were linked with the other day.
I'm not gonna lie, I agree with that. Yeah, I do agree with that. But out of when I say about those youngsters as well, like was it Ray and Esteval and Hendricks, you just know one of them, and this is going to sound really harsh, but you just know one of them within the next 5 seasons is going to be that player. What happened to him? He's going to have a huge fall from grace, and he'll end up at someone like Plymouth Argyle. Like it'll just like end up nowhere.
Well, no, I mean to be fair, Jacquet side, they probably play for my hometown in Crawley. Like sitting going like he used to play for this team, and then he's come down.
Esteval plays for Crawley.
I mean that'd be no in Crawley though. Back in the day, it used to be we didn't get the actual player. We got the player. We got the person with the same name, so either his brother or something. So if he has a brother that's got the same name, we'll probably sign him. But no, I mean, you got those lists. You know those lists that I think sometimes if you go like 2002, 3 or like early 2000s, there was a list. Who's going to be the biggest stars, young players? And you got all the lists, and then 10 years later, you look back and you go, 2/3 of those didn't even amount to the hype they did.
Yeah, but, I mean, you think back to Bojan. Do you remember when he came through at Barcelona? Everyone saw him as the next Messi, and then he ended up at Stoke City.
I like on Football Manager, love that guy because I think when I was Liverpool, I signed him and he scored so many goals. Like I can see why people were up for him, but yeah, he was coming across as like the next big talent, and then kind of like most things, the right move, nothing really worked out, and obviously, yeah, I mean that's sad that one upsets me a little bit because I think he could have been, but that's a perfect example. Sometimes the wrong move or maybe just the wrong timing goes against you. But yeah, I remember him. Yeah, for Football Manager fans, definitely love Bojan.
I'd say the one for me at Chelsea that I thought would be an absolute star when I watched him on his debut for us at home to Wolves, and he just did nothing, was Gael Kakuta. I thought Kakuta was going to be an absolute. Do you
Oh,
remember him? I
wasn't
thought he was going to be an
wasn't he the
absolute
one
star.
that like he got us a huge ban or like
Yes,
not
he
a
did.
huge ban, but
Yeah, he was.
he was part of that like dodgy dealings, wasn't he? Yeah.
Hmm.
But like another one that I do remember, and it was such a shame nothing came of him. DeSanto, do you remember him?
I do. Chilean
Do
striker.
you remember him?
Yes.
Stu?
Doesn't ring a bell, but then again,
DeSanto. Oh,
but I'm guessing if he's a situation of obviously people have you're sitting there saying, well, we didn't amount to us. I'm not surprised I don't remember, but I guess he played.
he was your was it not Sonogo? David and Gog.
Yeah, he was. Exactly.
He was your David and Gog.
Yeah.
That was
He went to
that
Wigan,
was,
didn't he, Matt? I think DeSanto.
Yes,
he went
Wigan,
to Roberto
that's it,
Martinez
yeah.
at Wigan. Yeah.
Oh, wait, now
Yeah.
actually I remember. Yeah, that rings a bell. I was about to say, like, bloody, that's going back.
Yeah.
Like at one point, he was playing as up front because basically we had no one against Arsenal. I think he scored, but like, yeah, he was a strange one. That one back in the day.
You know it. I mean, anyone. By the way, anyone listening, if you can think of a player who was that had such high potential but never reached it, please put them down in the comments. We'd love to hear any you've got. But we'll move on to the Champions League, and it's a topic that I think we do need to discuss. After an amazing week of Champions League football, seeing goalkeepers score for Benfica to send Real Madrid into the playoffs and then into the playoffs as well, to only play each other again in the playoffs. I freaking love that.
Jose Mourinho masterclass, that was.
Yeah, obviously Chelsea managed to actually qualify for the top 8. You've obviously got Liverpool, Man City, Arsenal. Am I listening at Spurs in that top 8, and Newcastle who are in the playoffs, and I believe who have they got?
Carabao.
Sorry,
Carabao.
And again, they could probably win, but Carabao have been quite good this year.
Yeah, I wouldn't underestimate them.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
I get it. We done them 6-0, but like they've had some, as you can attest as Chelsea fans.
Yeah,
almost
good result. Yeah,
they're a good side, so
yeah, can't write them off. But the thing I wanted to bring up is that there are 5 teams in the Champions League knockout stages confirmed, and they are English sides. 8 teams altogether, and 5 of them English. I mean, that just goes to show our league is like the strength in depth is just phenomenal. I do think that. Like,
I mean, nothing against
I know our
Tottenham.
league's really tight at the minute, but
yeah, I mean, nothing against Tottenham, but like the idea that basically like shows the strength that Tottenham are. Obviously, sometimes it is lack of the fixtures you get, but the idea that Tottenham have able to scrape in, like get into the top 8 is, mildly impressive for them, especially with was it where they in the league, like 12th, like 10th or something, like they're quite. I mean, 10th, like I say, in the Premier League is now getting through the champion, top 8. That if you look at it, all the teams that didn't qualify, it's like the massive sides, but. I think it was different last year because I think it was more people getting used to it. But I think this year, I think the top clubs, especially in England, have kind of adjusted to it and understood it. So it feels like that the big guns mostly have, figured it out. But when you've got 6 teams in there, I mean, you've got a good chance to qualify. Like, because obviously, I don't think normally we'll have 4, but obviously an extra 2 always helps that at least most of them are going to get through. So,
but you look at some of the teams that didn't make the top 8. Real Madrid, Inter Milan, PSG, Atletico, Dortmund, Napoli didn't even make the playoffs, which is insane.
Conte's hopeless in Europe, isn't he? He always has been.
Yeah, God, yeah, he is hopeless. But there are some big names in there, and none of them made it into that top 8. English clubs did, along with Sporting, Barcelona, and Bayern Munich. I mean, I think that a lot of people go, "Oh yeah, this season's been a bit boring because no one's running away with anything because it's just so tight." That makes it even better. It just shows there's so much competition.
What do people want? Like, I just love that one. It's like it's the same. I literally like
someone runs away, they don't like it.
Yeah,
it's too close. They don't like it either.
It's like I saw, I think, a Man United podcast when it said, what was it? If Arsenal win the Premier League, they're like they'd be the worst champions or something, and the worst thing. I'm like, are you just like cutting what you said last season about Liverpool, where if Liverpool win, it's the worst leagues? Like, it could happen. Actually, the league isn't quality, not bad. It's actually really good because it's unpredictable, and maybe you could. Whatever you think about the league stage, I mean, I'm still mildly on the fence of it, but because I still think, what's the point of finishing top if you don't get any advantage really from it?
I think that
But
needs to change. I do think that needs to
yeah,
change. Yeah.
because what's the point? Like, I get it with Arsenal this season, who they've got in the last 16, possibly. Like, yeah, they should beat those. But like with us, like last season, we were topped it. It's like, oh,
Do you
great.
think that the team at the top should be able to choose who they face?
I mean, that's
No.
I mean, that's
Why
two.
not?
That's that.
No, but hang on. Why not?
Oh, okay.
Just throw it out there. Why not?
But
Give me a
you
reason.
can't, get them to choose who they're going to face, but you can give them like a more favourable seat maybe when you're making the draw.
But then that happened last year, and then Liverpool ended up with PSG.
Yeah,
yeah, but I agree.
That's bad. That was just bad
Yeah.
luck. That was just
Yeah,
bad
that should
luck.
change. But no, they shouldn't choose. Like,
I don't think you
mean,
should choose
no,
your path. That's one thing
I
I'd like to clarify. Don't choose your path. Like, you just go, oh yeah, well, I'll have Olympiacos, I'll have Karabag, I'll have Bodo Glint, and I'll have.
Yeah. If you got a
just
choice,
like
then you
that.
just you'll pick the team that's probably just
Yeah, like that.
sneaked in the bottom, like 24, just sneaked in, got in that. But
Yeah.
no, I would say the problem is if you did that, that's basically like all that stuff they accuse of like the big teams trying to, get advantage of the small teams. That'd be like UEFA would be like, you know what, we're not going to hide it anymore. It's true because if you get top, you can pick who you want, and it basically, yeah. I don't know, like I just
I
think they've
would
got
like
to do
that,
something with
yeah.
that because it just feels like, what's the point of being top?
Yeah, I mean, if you say last season, you say one of us finished in the top of that table. For me, and someone said, okay, you get to choose who you want. You're obviously going to choose the weakest team, of course you are. But you finished top, you should have that benefit. But I do get what you guys mean. It would look so dodgy and
Yeah.
everything like that. So yeah, I do agree with that. But do you think that I'll be honest, I wasn't the biggest fan of this. They're going into the league, big 30 teams. I weren't a fan of it, and I thought this isn't going to work. And 36, sorry, it's not going to work. It's going to be boring. It's going to die out in a few years. That final day of the Champions League was one of the most exciting Champions League nights I've had as a Chelsea fan.
it
Because it
evolves.
was
Do you know
just
what? But the
so
thing is,
much
Matt,
changing.
football evolves, isn't it? Do you remember when we were all growing up when there was the first phase, group phase of the Champions League, and then there's a second group phase?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that didn't really work. I think the league phase, I think it's really exciting. I think it's great. And but the thing is, you get top games every single week in the Champions League now. Whereas when you have the group phase, sometimes you'd have like match day 3, match day 4, for example.
You
for
just
group
want
phase.
to.
You
You
didn't
just want to
have
get it out of the
many
way.
great games.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, and also there was so many times in those group stuff. Sometimes where it's just basically you've got it sorted by match day 4, 5. Like basically got 2 games where you can basically put a week aside. So so it's like if you're watching, if for example, if you had like Real Madrid be already qualified, you're like you just put out. But obviously now it's like every game matters. I give you that. I mean, obviously I think obviously some of the results we've got in the Champions League this year is obviously some of our best performances. So I mean,
Yeah.
I think the excitement I got was obviously we talked about when we started talking about this was the Benfica Real Madrid. Like you don't put your goalkeeper
That
up
was
when you know. Because I was watching on the table saying like, oh, it's like, oh my god, like watching it, not watching the game but keep an eye on it. And I was just sitting there going, oh my god, if it's one goal, they just need one goal to outdo.
Well, that's what Mourinho
Marseille?
heard, didn't he? He heard it in the. I think one of his coaching staff just went to him and he said, like we're all good. We're in the playoff bits. We're in the playoffs. So can we do? And then, like you said, they found they need one goal, and then literally Mourinho's probably just gone out there now.
It was just like it's just you see that and it's just like this is what we're hoping it would be. I mean, obviously it's second, so I guess in the people have understood it more. So I guess in it last season it was a bit more like, what is this? But now it's like you can see like they've figured it out. But yeah, I mean, it was a lot more exciting than it was last year because last year it was like it was too much going on. But this time it's more easier to go for what you want. But what games?
as well.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It's just I think it does make it exciting, but obviously it'd be interesting to see what happens in the sense of who wins it, in the sense of because again last season it was like where PSG finished in that thing and then they went on to win it. Where obviously whoever wins it, it'd be interesting to see where they finished in the end. Like if it's like example as bias of Liverpool, we say we'll finish third. You go okay, finish third and then went on to win it, or if you're like Real Madrid where they are and they go and win it. They finish like playoff bits, and you'd be like, well, what's the point of trying to really push to get that top 8 when you get the playoffs and get through and you still win it anyway? So I think that's mildly the problem for it, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I think.
I mean, I think for me, looking at all the teams this year, I have a big favourite to win it this year. I think Bayern will win it this year. I think there's just something about. I know it's one-sided in Germany. It usually is, isn't it, by like the odd season. But other than the Arsenal away game, every game I've seen them in, they've just been unbelievable. They've just got the bit between their teeth. Harry Kane's on fire. Diaz has been an amazing signing for them. I think it's theirs to lose. I really do.
I mean, I don't disagree with that, to be fair, because obviously you take away that, it's like you look at the teams that would roll for it. I mean, obviously, as a Liverpool fan, I mean, if I was going to be like a dark horse, maybe us, even in the Premier League, we look quite good in the Champions League. We seem to be suited for it. That's really strange, but yeah, I mean, obviously you got the teams like Real Madrid. They obviously got with Xabi Alonso. They look a bit shaky, obviously. They usually turn up, but again, that depends on what happens. You got obviously PSG. They're still looking a bit euphoric at the start, but then near the end they've kind of looked a bit shaky as well. And obviously all kind of stuff, like all the teams you're thinking, okay, maybe go for it, might be. You can even say Arsenal maybe, but again, Arsenal's one of those things with European competition. Until they win it, you're always going to be a bit skeptical if they're going to go on.
Arsenal will be minimum last 8, probably last 4, but I don't think they'll win it.
I just don't think they. I guess I just think they've got that ability to like nod off, and if you know what I mean, like, I can see they can get done up quite easily. It's not like you sit there and go through games and gone, wow, like I can see them on a day getting done, and I think that'd be, I don't know, but I think Bayern, I don't think that's a bad shout, to be fair. I think they've been absolutely immense in Bundesliga this season, so wouldn't surprise me.
I think another team you can't rule out as well is I mean, you can't rule a lot of them out. I mean, my God, like you look at some of the names.
Is it quite open this year? Do you think? Do you think it's quite an open Champions League?
I think that it depends on. This is going to sound very strange. It's going to depend on the characteristics of how these teams enter the knockout stages. So, like, if the playoffs, for example, is extra games that teams don't need, so they're going to really struggle, I think. But top 8 and the likes of Arsenal, yeah, I do agree they could go far. Bayern Munich, they definitely will be in the mix. Liverpool have got the experience of winning stuff. They've not won the Champions League with Slot, but they've got experience of winning stuff, so they will definitely be.
I've got a dark. I mean, obviously, you could say, well, Liverpool, I could say that, but it's just, I think, as well, away with, except for 1 or 2 blips early on, it's like we've got the ability to really tactically outdo like the kind of big sides on like a 2-legged affair. So I think we might look shaky in the league, but yeah, I think it would be such a Liverpool thing to do, is to basically go for a season where we're not being great in the league and maybe even miss out in the Champions League, but then go on to win the European Cup. Like it's such a
the dark horses for the Champions League. I'm not just saying this because to be biased. For me, the dark horses are Chelsea. Do not rule Chelsea out of this at all.
I'd say Barcelona.
They're too open.
No, I think
they're too open.
I don't know. They look a bit again, if at the group stage,
dark horses are teams you don't expect to do it.
Yeah.
And no one thought PSG would go and do it last year.
You know something? When we played Barcelona earlier in the season, it's the only big game I've ever watched Chelsea play in 25 years being a fan where I knew we were going to win. I knew we were going to win before we kicked off.
Really?
Because of the way they play. Yeah, I knew we were going to win. Because they're too open. They play exactly the way that suited us. They play a high line, ridiculous high line. They're not that great off the ball. All it takes is a couple of direct passes behind, and you're in on goal. Neto almost scored after a run from the halfway line because they were so open and they played so high.
I kind of agree with that Barcelona fix. Obviously, we forget last season of how many entertaining as hell. But I think, was it that Benfica game last year? Like how many goals? Like was it 5-4? Remember? Like it was just like it was just like it's entertainment. It's like everyone loves attacking teams,
Inter,
but like,
wasn't it?
Oh, there's that as well. Yeah, that game. I mean, given that was one hell of a
that was
final.
Yeah.
I remember watching that. It's like you thought Barcelona have done it, and then all of a sudden it's just into one last chance and they got it, and it's like what? It's just it was just like that was so good last year. But again, I kind of agree with that. Yeah, Barcelona. I think you could sit there and say attacking once, but I think they haven't sorted out their defensive vulnerability. So
Yeah.
I can see them getting done up by, like example, if Benfica get past Real Madrid, that's possible. I could see them
Never rule
doing it.
Jose out.
Yeah, I mean, could Jose finally have his like spark back, and he's like, you know what, I'm gonna win the Champions League for Benfica.
He's
Oh
unbeaten
my
in the
God.
league, isn't he? He's unbeaten in the league, but he's still like 7 points behind because Porto, I think, have won every game bar one, haven't they? It's incredible.
Yeah, I mean, Porto normally blitz that the Portuguese league normally.
Mm.
But I mean, what would be crazy about that is the idea that basically like if he wants to become that folklore where he goes up and win the Champions League and then finally ends the Benfica European curse, final curse, where they can't win
That
the
is so
European finals.
Mourinho. That's
It's
so
like he
Mourinho.
ends it like
Yeah.
he ended Roma's wait for a European trophy,
He did.
and now he go to Benfica and do the same thing. It's what he does. He
Yeah.
does it. He only does it 1 or 2 years, but if I
Well,
was gonna be like crazy when it comes to betting on who's going to Champions League, I would go mental and go for Benfica just for a laugh, and it probably happen.
um, so I think we'll finish on the Champions League, as in move on to the next bit in a moment, with by just saying this then. One team you have to choose, and it's any team from Champions like the Champions League knockouts already, all the way to the playoffs. Who is your team that's going to win it? There you go, one word answer.
Minus our own teams.
You can say your own team if you want to, if you're that confident. I'm
I would,
confident Chelsea could go far, but I don't think it will be.
I wouldn't go confident and Liverpool in the same bracket this season. So I don't think that's really the word confident. It's more a feeling, just because it's the way things are going. But no, I mean, if I was saying like Liverpool, I would say I
One
would say
word
dark
answer.
horse.
One word answer.
I'll risk it. I'll say Liverpool.
Okay, Josh.
Bayern.
Oh, I'm tempted. Yeah, I'm going to go Bayern as well. Yeah, I'm going to go Bayern as well because I am.
Well, it's probably you two are probably right, but it's just I'm instead of my head, I'm going my heart at this one.
Yeah.
That's not
All
his
right.
work, but I try.
Right, we're going to move on to the Super Six. So, as everyone knows, the Super Six is run by Sky Sports, and basically they give you 6 games to get bang on, and you can win £500,000 just by getting them right, and it is free to play. So, by all means, sign up to it. But we are going to do each of our predictions now, and let's see if we get them right, because obviously we are very good at this. We are very good at this. We do have our own little league format as well. If you do want to join it, Stu can very happily put the thing in the comments. But let's get the predictions out of the way. The very first one is the big game of the weekend. It's not. It's Arsenal versus Sunderland at the Emirates. We're going to start with Josh.
I think it'd be a tricky one for Arsenal. Sunderland very well organised. They've been outstanding defensively all season, so I expect Sunderland to give them a tough game. I think Arsenal at home, they apart from the United game, they've been outstanding at home. I'm going to go for a boring game and a 2-0 win for Arsenal and another set piece goal.
Okay. I'm going to go with 3-0 Arsenal in this game. I think that Arsenal's victory against Leeds United has shown that they've got the attacking style back, and I think Sunderland away from home have never looked particularly good in the league so far. Their home form's been what's made them look very good. So yeah, I'm going to go 3-0.
Yeah, I mean, I think obviously Sunderland is obviously going to be a tough, because obviously I think they're going to probably frustrate Arsenal for long periods of this game. But it wouldn't surprise me if it's one of those games where they get a goal and Arsenal panic, but then they just do find a way to get the winner. But I think it'd be a close game. Obviously, the last time they went out, I know it was at Sunderland. It was a very entertaining game to watch. I remember watching that one. So, but I would go 2-1 Arsenal.
Also, Jacquet's injured as well, isn't he?
Oh, is he? Okay, then.
That's a major blow.
Yeah, I mean that's more. That probably guarantees that for me that Arsenal are going to win that one then, because without it.
Fair enough. And then we move on to Bournemouth at the Vitality Stadium as they invite Aston Villa to the ground. Now, I'm going to go with in this one, or I'm going to say, I don't want to go, like, a big part of me whenever I do this is it's like, don't go for a draw, don't go for a draw. But there is going to be a draw in the game. There is always a draw in some game. It's finding that right one. And I think this could be it. But then Aston Villa have been decent away from home as well. They've been decent away from home. So I'm going to go with 2-1 Aston Villa.
Okay.
Do you know what? When I go bold in my predictions this year, it usually backfires. So this is probably going to be good news for Villa. But I actually think Bournemouth are going to win 2-1. I think Bournemouth are in good bit of form. Bournemouth are one of those sides where they have a great run of like 5, 6, 7 games where they win most of them, and then they'll go like 7 or 8 games without a win. And I think right now they're in that sort of run where they've got a bit of momentum.
Yeah.
Kroupi, as we mentioned earlier, is doing fantastic. He's obviously going to be full of confidence of his recent run of form. Villa, I think they lack strength and depth. McGinn's out injured, Tillemans is out injured, Watkins is now out injured, which is a big blow for them. I think they've got too many injuries to go to Bournemouth and win. Personally, I'm going to go 2-1 Bournemouth.
Oh, he's swaying me with his information.
I know. I mean, I'm sure I made this mistake last time they played each other when I put Villa to win and Bournemouth won. So like, do I want to make the same mistake twice and go for Villa and then they do it again? But I mean, it does have a draw, doesn't it? But from experience of many times doing Super 6, you never put a draw because 9 times out of 10 it never works. I'll risk it. I'll stick to what I was going to do, and I'll put. I think Villa. I think they've still. Bournemouth have the ability to kind of. Could this be the start of that slide that obviously Josh was talking about? I put Villa to win 2-1, but this probably will be the one that I'll be kicking myself when I see that was it Josh will get this right, and I should have went for Bournemouth, but I got Villa.
Yeah.
I mean, as I said earlier, whenever I go bold, it's usually everything that happens. So Villa, I'm sure will win now, but no, I just have a feeling about Bournemouth in that one.
Yeah. We'll stick with our predictions then. I'm happy then. Now we're going to move on to Wolves as they play Molineux against Chelsea, a game which I think is easy to predict, but at the same time, if the Chelsea turns up in that first half like they did against West Ham, you have no idea all of a sudden. So, Stuart, what do you think?
I think this game is, as you said, it's correct. Like you look at it and go, there's only one winner here, really, and you would go for Chelsea with this one. But I mean, you're just thinking because obviously, again, if they have they do have some shaky, you might have a shaky first half. Maybe Wolves might get one, but I think you do have the quality to win this quite comfortably in the end. So I'm gonna put 3-1 Chelsea.
Okay, Josh.
Okay, I agree with Stu on that score. Actually, I'm going to go 3-1 Chelsea. I think it'll be a dodgy first half. I can see because we've got a big game in the week. I think Rossini is going to make a lot of changes again. I can definitely see another dodgy first half incoming. But I think we've got the strength and depth to turn it around, even if we do. I think Wolves are, with respect to them, they've been dreadful this season. Obviously, they're going to get relegated. I think 3-1 Chelsea. I don't see Chelsea dropping points in that one.
Okay. We've got a full house because I went 3-1 Chelsea as well.
Hey.
Hey! That means none of us are going to get it right.
Or we're all going to get 5 points.
Yeah, and it's going to make no blind bit of difference. Newcastle United against Brentford at the St James's Park. Josh, what are you saying?
Tough one to go for that one. Brentford have been fantastic this season. Keith Andrews, what a job he's done.
Yeah.
Newcastle pretty solid at home. That's a real hard one. I'm gonna go just because they're at home and it's a must-win game for them if they're going to compete for the top 4. I'm going to go 2-1 Newcastle.
Okay. I'm going to go 2-0 Newcastle. I think defensively they were exposed against Liverpool, but I think Brentford, despite how good Igor Thiago is, I think Newcastle will win this one comfortably and get things back on track, but then come back down again next weekend. So I'm going to go 2-0 Newcastle.
Shard suspended for Brentford, isn't he, as well? Come to think of it, so that'll be a big blow for them.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I think it's probably more closer than you think. I think obviously, again, that win at Villa, the idea they were down to 10 men, they still went on and won that. They still have that ability to maybe nick it, but again, with Newcastle at home with the crowd, probably be a bit more tension because obviously a little bit of run they've had in the league. If it was away from home, I probably would go for Brentford because obviously Newcastle's away record is absolutely terrible. But yeah, I think I'm saying with Josh 2-1 Newcastle. I think they need to win it. So I think that push would get them to get the win.
Okay. Then we move on to the Amex Stadium as Brighton host Crystal Palace, one of the most intense derbies of the Premier League era.
That no one knows what it's about.
Yeah, that no one knows the idea what it's about. And I'm going to go with a boring 1-1.
Oh, you didn't go for 0-0?
No. I've used my 0-0 for the week. I've used my 0-0 for the season.
Is that a season thing? Like you just get it on the, you get it like it was once a season. You use 0-0, and if it doesn't work, that's it.
Now. It ain't ever gonna happen again now. So that is it. I've used it. No, I'm gonna go 1-0 in that game. Stuart.
It's a weird one because obviously Brighton are a bit inconsistent this season. Obviously, they're quite good normally. I think normally quite good, but obviously they're still consistent. But obviously Palace is going off a cliff at the moment when it comes to form. But this
just signed Chad Larson, haven't they?
Did they though? Because obviously
didn't
the other guy went to AC Milan.
No, he's staying.
Yeah, so that's staying. That's a discussion for another time. But yeah, but I don't know. I think because of how Palace looked in the last couple of games, I would probably. It has a draw, but I'm not putting a draw, so I'm gonna put Brighton to win 2-1.
And then Josh,
what was it with me agreeing with Stu's score predictions? I actually think 2-1 Brighton as well. No, I think it's two out of form teams, isn't it? Brighton's formed actually. Didn't realise how poor Brighton's form was till the weekend when I looked at the stats. Palace have fallen off a cliff though. I think it's tight derby. Brighton are at home. I think they're a better attacking team than Palace, and I think that will see them over the line. So I'm going to go 2-1 Brighton.
Okay. And then we have the dead rubber of the weekend in Liverpool versus Man City.
I mean, there's no point asking me because I'm going to pick.
I so want this to be a Premier League classic. I so want this to be a Premier League classic because we love a Premier League classic, and of course I'm going to go for a Premier League classic.
You only want a Premier League classic if your team wins it. If you don't, you want to forget it. But yeah,
exactly. This is it. Stu, what are you going for?
I mean, it's a surprise to no one that I'm going to go for Liverpool winning.
Of course, of course.
Because obviously, I think as you said with the film top, that they do look vulnerable, and obviously, I think it might be a little bit shaky defensive at times, but like attacking wise, it's starting to click a little bit. Because obviously, we all forget like last two games we've scored 10 goals. Like we've really scored a lot of goals recently. So like I could see if we really went at them and thought, well, go for it, we could beat the City side, and obviously, but it's going to be close. It always is against City. But I think obviously it's a weird one because obviously if we beat them, obviously it's kind of technically handing the title to Arsenal because obviously it'd be so many points by that point. But yeah, I think Liverpool. As I said before, I manifest the result I want. So I want a 2-1. So I'm going to put it in predictions so it happens. So I'm going to put 2-1 Liverpool.
Okay, Josh.
2-2 for me. Can't separate them. Neither team can defend. They're both in fairly average form overall. 2-2 draw. I think it will be a classic. Liverpool City games are usually really good games, especially at Anfield. So I'm going to go 2-2 draw.
I'm going to go 4-3. I'm going bold for this one. I'm going bold.
4-3 to who though?
Liverpool. Of course.
Good. Because I was just about to
be Liverpool take an early lead. And then City will turn it around, bring it to 3-1, and it looks comfortable. And then all of a sudden, Liverpool turn on the style and bring it home. 4-3.
Well, let's be honest. What's going to happen is it'll be 2-0. Liverpool will be let 2-0 slip. It'll be 2-2, and then all of a sudden, a last-minute winner by like Chiesa or something comes off the bench and scores it. It feels like that kind of game.
The famous Coutinho goal, that doesn't quite work as good, does it?
I mean, was it Sky Sports there put Gary Neville in that game just to wind him up. Because he would be like he'll just go ooh like it just that. That's all he does. It would show emotion, but yeah, I can see that. But so 2 Liverpool wins and obviously 1 the draw. So interesting.
Okay. Excellent. Okay then. Well, obviously, don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel. Of course, obviously loads of content coming your way. As always, any ideas you've got that you want us to give us a go as well, put it down in the comments. We'd love to hear from you guys as always. Okay, but take care everyone. See you soon. All right.
Bye.
See you later.